Hey everybody, welcome to Breakfast All Day. Matt, Christy, Alonzo. I've been dealing with Outfest stuff this week, so I've been mostly out of the loop on new movies, but they've seen some stuff. They're going to first tell you about Skin.
Do you want me to do it? You want to do it?
Go ahead.
Okay, so Guy Nattiv is this Israeli director who won the Academy Award for Best Live Action Short this past year for a film called Skin, which was about clashes between white supremacists and black activists. It's about wearing tattoos that signify your beliefs and what that means in terms of your role in society. Danielle Macdonald, who starred in Patty Cakes, is also in that. This is not necessarily a feature-length version of his short.
I don't think it's even close to that.
It's not. Have you seen the short Skin?
Yeah, this is a completely different story.
It's a totally different story. It's a true story.
Yeah.
But it'd be easy to get confused because it's the same guy and the same title and one of the same stars.
But this one has Jamie Bell.
Jamie Bell stars as a guy named Brian Widener, who he was a real guy, is a real guy, and he was pretty high ranking in this white supremacy group. In real life, it's Indiana. Here they call it Ohio.
Right.
Called the Viking Social Club.
Yes.
The Vinlanders Social Club. And they take all of this Viking honor and brotherhood bullshit.
Right.
And
it's a white supremacist game.
It is, but they pretend that they're about honor and brotherhood. But like for white people. Anyway, so he's severely tatted. Like he's a tattoo artist. And all over his face, all over his neck, he's got all these racist tattoos. And he's in this life deep. He had come from nothing. And what happens is that the leaders of the group, as we see, Bill Camp and Vera Farmiga, they are just chilling in the way they prey on these like young, lost, wayward teenage kids and bring them into the fold and give them a sense of family, which is totally twisted and fucked up. And he's one of those kids.
And we know that that's how gangs work, right? We know that gangs attract people who feel like they've got nothing else going on. And give them a place. I mean, terrorism cells kind of work the same way. It's like they find somebody who's vulnerable and basically brainwash them.
They're easy pickings.
Right, they're easy pickings. Yeah. And one of the things that this character Brian struggles with is what he thinks he owes his family. And, we see Brian start to turn away from that. A powerful performance by Jamie Bell.
Amazing.
And everyone in this. And you're right, the two actors that play the parents are chilling, because there's just this kind of like matter-of-fact, almost casual, just demands from them. I found this movie really fascinating, and it also goes through. I mean, it kind of sets itself up as here's what happened to Brian that inspired him to get rid of all those tattoos.
Right.
And there's a documentary that was on MSNBC in I think 2011 that covered
about him,
about the real life person
erasing hate.
Yeah, erasing hate.
This is that guy,
and he went through a series of very painful treatments to get rid of those tattoos
over years.
And this movie is terrific and it's very moving, and I found it to be ultimately a little hopeful in that it takes a guy who is kind of like a frontline soldier in a group like this and is as gung-ho as anyone in that group is about being a white supremacist and hating other races, and finds that, hey, this guy could walk a pack.
Right. And he meets a woman played by Danielle Macdonald and becomes, part of their family. She's got 3 daughters, and she had been in kind of the, with some Nazi dude, and she has pulled herself out of it. And he finds with them what a real family can feel like, with the daughters and the dog, and there's a sense of purpose there that he didn't have before. But because he has these tattoos, it's kind of hard to go get a job, anywhere with all of that. And so,
but over and above it, sorry to interrupt. I found that the movie doesn't really. It doesn't get so. I mean, him not being able to get a job is a part of it, it's more about he finds a family that's a real family that fills that need for him in a way that the gang doesn't. And as soon as he starts to feel a true affection and a true concern, at one point the woman he's dating says, "I'm not going to let my girls around that anymore," and so he starts to, and he's concerned for their safety and he's concerned for their well-being, and he buys them presents and he wants to see them happy. And as soon as that happens for him, you start to see the cracks in his relationship with the gang because the two are kind of mutually exclusive. And watching that play out in this movie, I think it's terrifically done.
And yeah, they feel threatened and they won't let him leave. He keeps trying to get out and they won't let him. Jamie Bell is a hugely physical transformational performance for him.
Right.
And it's unlike anything we've ever seen from him before. He has a huge art he gets to play. But also, it takes place maybe like a decade or so more than that even ago. But there's a speech that Bill Camp gives early on in the film where he's standing on stage. He's talking about maybe running for Ohio State Senate, the legislature somehow, and he's getting all his followers all riled up into a frenzy, and he's talking about Asians and blacks and other minority groups, but he's using far more offensive language for all these people. And he says, maybe we should just send them all back, or maybe they should just leave. It's something along those lines, and it gets everybody really passionately riled up, and it's just too relevant. We saw this exact thing happen in our own country last week at a presidential rally. Right. So it seems like, okay, it was a while ago. No, it was not. It is now. It is happening.
Right,
it could not be more. It could not be more on the biggest stage. Yeah.
Right. But again, like one of the things that I think this movie ultimately ends on a hopeful note is that you see that, it kind of contextualizes like, well, you don't fall into that. I personally think, and this movie seems to say like, look, you end up there because you don't have anything else, right? But there's hope. Like a guy like that, especially a guy like Woodlow, who was such, kind of the poster boy for this. Like he found his way out, right? And he found his way out because he found something to live for rather than something to rage against. Yeah. And not just, I think a lot of that, you see a lot of people, they'll say that it's something to live for, but it's in reaction to something. Whereas like, oh, I've got people I care about. I've got people that I want to take that need me, right? And I thought that was really powerful.
Okay, so what's your number?
What did I?
You said 9.
Yeah, 9.
I'm saying 7. It gets a little melodramatic and a little repetitive toward the end, but it's very good for a while. So our number is an 8. It's at 76% on the tomato meter.
So thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel here. Follow us at BFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/BFastAllDay. It's where we do our Twitter recaps, our trailer reviews, and our TV recaps.
All the stuff.
And speaking of TV recaps, if you want to come to Outfest this Saturday, Christy and I will be previewing a new episode of Handmaid's Tale and doing a live brunch all day recap afterwards. So check that out, 1:30 at the TCL Chinese. Hope to see you there. Bye.